Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Pipe Bomb Sessions. We are getting readied up this weekend for Saturday night's main event. We got a few matches on there. I will say the card itself doesn't look bad in my opinion, personally, but I can see where there's some type of commotion going on of hey, you know, Backlash literally just happened, and we're getting Saturday night's main event this weekend. And I believe in about 2 weeks, it's going to be Money in the Bank already. I think Mania, once again, being delayed this year, really put a damper on how these three PLEs kind of got just mushed together, in my opinion. But hey, I'm still here for the ride. I'm sure you guys are still here for the ride. So let's keep it going. And we're gonna keep it going with this past Friday night on SmackDown. We saw, the continuation of the Bloodline story, which I'm in shock that hey, this guy Jeff Cobb or JC Mateo, I think as they're calling him now, which is his new name, teamed up with Solo. You can see that, Fatu's really not on board with this whole situation as much as Solo would like him to be on board. Probably because Fatu realized that, oh shoot, Solo may have gotten my replacement. And he still keeps speaking out. And you can see Solo's character is funny. He gets a little bit nervous, but he doesn't really get scared per se. He's just more so yo, he wants to be in control and in charge. Felt like that was probably slipping through his fingers, and he brought in some new muscles, some new backup for himself. And I will say on SmackDown, man, JC Mateo, he showed out with his debut against LA Knight as well. I think he put him a pretty good matchup. And that in itself, in my opinion, was pretty impressive. You could see more dissension between Solo and Fatu. Fatu even says the famous "I love you, Solo" line, but you can tell he didn't mean it like that. Yo, that "I hate you, Solo" line is about to hit when this man gets to say it on him. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I think it's gonna be freaking great. The Samoan werewolf, I like him, man. He's already a star in my opinion, and he's only gonna get bigger from here. We're on a roller coaster of this, and this is gonna be pretty good. I can't wait till freaking Solo does get got by Fatu. As he says, all gas, no brakes, man. Shit. I hope he's ready. I hope Solo knows what the hell he got himself into with this monster of a man. And, speaking of monsters and, RIP to the monster, the Fiend, but his girl, Alexa Bliss, freaking advanced in the Money in the Bank qualifying match, and she is now gonna be in the women's Money in the Bank match. I am really glad that they not only are now, seems like, using Alexa and throwing her back into spots where she should be indeed, in my opinion. And I will say, I really do like her finisher. I think that that Sister Abigail type of move that she got going on, I think it's lit. I think she executes it with perfection as well. And Alexa Bliss, I mean, she's a personal favorite of mine anyways. I've been missing her. I'm glad she's back, and I'm glad she's getting thrown right into that situation. However, I don't know, and I don't see, honestly speaking, Alexa winning that matchup. I think Alexa Bliss's return is more about the storyline going on with Charlotte on the backstage moments. I don't know. Something just feels off. Like she keeps, seems like she's kind of recruiting Charlotte to, maybe have some assistance, get some backup, and them being the vets, basically taking care of business. Some of these younger talent that are coming and taking the spotlight. I don't know. I kind of am liking this whole proposition that it seems like Alexa's coming to Charlotte. Charlotte is blowing her off week by week, but gonna catch up to her. You know, she's gonna end up losing a couple matches. She has her Money in the Bank qualifying match next week against Zelina, and I believe it's Julia in the match. I can see Julia taking that, getting advanced. Again, back to Alexa's point, Charlotte will be left off. I heard rumors down the line that it's supposed to be Charlotte versus Jade at that Evolution all women's PLE that they're gonna bring back and do. And again, Charlotte's not gonna win that matchup either. So maybe that's gonna be the last straw where, she loses her Money in the Bank opportunity. Then she loses to Jade. Boom. Like this main event, now she's lost to Tiffy, her Money in the Bank qualifying match, Jade. And, she lose that Money in the Bank thing to Julia, another new and up-and-comer. I don't know, man. I think Alexa may have a point. Maybe Charlotte may need to hear her out a little bit more. Possibly see this becoming more of a new leaf for Charlotte. We haven't really seen her get into the tag team side of things, and it gets her out of the title picture and occupied at least. We're used to seeing some women in WWE only go after titles and keeping themselves relevant that way, but it's good to see people change it up. So I am totally for it, not against it. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, you did hear that Julia was going to be part of that triple threat qualifying match next week on SmackDown. That's because Nick Aldis officially made her a WWE SmackDown signee on Friday, which is pretty interesting. I thought they were doing something with the whole Julia and Roxanne thing. Maybe it was just to show out, and then they were going to separate them, which is cool. That's not really a problem with me. I think SmackDown's women's division did need a little bit of a boost, at least from my point of view. I also think certain people are stuck in just different feuds that are maybe not going anywhere at the moment, but still building. A certain feud that's, I don't know if we call it being built. It's been there this whole time. I mean, but that's Saturday night's main event freaking matchup between R-Truth and John Cena. Truth said that he's going to help Cena see the light again. And, I'm kind of liking this. Because in my opinion, I'm sure Truth can put up a good matchup still. And we have to remember this. For all the people being upset about R-Truth and John Cena being put up on the card, because I have been seeing a lot of discourse online and just hearing about it as well. I mean, yeah, he's going to put up a good matchup, but this is not WWE's call. You guys have to remember this. John Cena said many, many months ago that he has personally chosen all of his opponents for his farewell tour. This is just a guy that Cena went up to Triple H and told him, like, hey, I'm facing Truth at some point, and boom, Saturday night's main event is that some point. Plus, I understand why Truth is involved. Obviously, they have history from back in the day, but not only that, how Truth has been the last 5 to 10 years at least. I mean, Truth is the way that Cena's gonna see the light. I can see it. I can see Truth being the reason how Cena gets back to being a face. It makes sense to me. I feel like this whole aggressive behavior, this house gonna get calmed down. Maybe Truth is the way that not immediately turns face, but it's another crack in the armor type of situation. But let's see. Let's see how Saturday night goes, and let's just. I don't know. I don't know who I'm gonna say will win specifically, but you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna say R-Truth's gonna win. I think honestly, R-Truth may actually have a shot here, just because it's not for the title. Not for the title. Maybe R-Truth does win somehow or another, and Cena beats the holy hell out of him, and then he feels bad for beating the holy hell out of him after. You never know. Maybe Cena just, lets his guard down, and that's how Truth ends up winning. This is not for the title. I think that's very important. I feel like that plays more into it. It doesn't make sense. Like, okay, yeah, if you made it for the title, we knew Cena was gonna win no matter what. But because it's not for the title, it just feels like WWE's kind of giving us an opportunity to be a little open minded with this match. Well, as I said, we'll find out Saturday night. Not an issue, not an issue at all. Um, a guy who's still having issues is Drew McIntyre with Damian Priest. He thought that Priest was left in the rear view mirror. However, little did Drew know that Priest wants more of him, and he wants more of him inside of the steel cage. So Drew comes out, he's heated, he's PO'd. Like, uh, from what I read happened during that Backlash match, this guy Priest dropped Drew legitimately on his head. And they had to check up on him, make sure my man wasn't concussed and was all right, man. Like, shoot, be careful out there, guys. But hey, we're gonna get a banger of a match between Drew and Priest, I think, in a steel cage. I will say that I do think this is the match where Priest takes. I feel like it's his time to take the W. This is gonna be it. I mean, after a steel cage, I'm not sure if they can really do a third match or if a third match is even needed. Maybe this is a way for Drew to kind of move on to other things. This could also be a way for Priest to kind of elevate himself to another new level that people are kind of just brushing him off for. I think it's important. It's needed. And more importantly, I think Priest cannot afford to take another loss. It would kill his momentum a little bit. Not totally, but definitely would hurt his momentum at the moment. Just my opinion, though. I don't know. Let's see how it goes down. I will say officially, though, I think Priest does take the W here. I think Drew already got his at Mania, the Big Bang, but it's time for Priest to get some revenge on him. I can just see it. It just makes sense to me. And let's see how good of a banger really gonna be, because I do believe that it's gonna be a really good match. Speaking of a pretty good match, we had the Jimmy Uso, Rey Fenix, and then Solo matchup happen for the Money in the Bank qualifying match. Of course, see, I personally wanted Jimmy to win it, but Solo ended up winning it, and it makes sense to me, actually. Solo getting into the Money in the Bank qualifier, he's going after the briefcase to try to get a title, have the gold come into the bloodline. On top of that, he has JC Mateo now watching his back. Let's see how this unravels within the next, I guess, 10 days or 2 weeks, whatever we have until Money in the Bank. But let's see. Let's see if Fatu somehow, gets involved or says anything. Maybe Solo, thinking a little bit highly of himself. So, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go. I am looking forward to the matchup. Hopefully, this means LA Knight is also done with the bloodline, because he did face JC Mateo tonight. Another bloodline matchup. Let's get LA Knight moved to Raw at this point, man. If you're gonna keep doing him like this, let's get him out of the freaking circle of the bloodline, please. But speaking of LA Knight, he's in the qualify match next week with himself, Shinsuke, which Shinsuke cut a random promo. Honestly, I love Shinsuke, and I thought his aura was great, but man, he's just there to just show up sometimes and be out. So I don't see him winning. And then the third guy is Aleister Black, who, see, at first, I thought Aleister Black is probably going to win that match, but I can see Carmelo Hayes or The Miz interrupting him, because it seems like he's in a small feud with the two of them at the moment, and maybe they get involved to cost Aleister Black the match. I think that is very possible. LA Knight should qualify and get himself in there. Yeah, baby. Let's freaking go, man. Now, time for the main event of SmackDown. I just want to give an honorable mention to it. I know it's a main event, but still. God damn, Nia Jax and Tiffy put up a show for the crowd. And I will admit, Nia's been on a roll since she's returned. She's put on some pretty good matchups. She's came back. There was another one against Tiffy. And, Tiffy retained, but nonetheless, that matchup was high key fire. Like, that was a very enjoyable thing to watch. And that was awesome. That was something I just wanted to mention. Besides the whole Saturday night's main event lineup and Money in the Bank qualifying match, who's getting in, who's not at the moment. But I did want to mention that real quick. And speaking of more matchups and Saturday night's main event, moving on to what happened on Raw was, of course, Logan Paul coming out, hyping up his matchup against Jey Uso this Saturday night. Brings out Gunther, which we know is going to be facing the winner of Logan Paul and Jey Uso after that Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And on top of that, we see later on in the evening that Rollins then approaches Gunther, saying like, hey, whoever has the title around their waist, I'm coming after you right after. So it seems like there's already a line for Jey Uso's world title freaking matchups. He has Logan Paul coming up this weekend. Then he has Gunther right after. Then he may have Rollins again after that. Let's see how it's going to play out. I'm not sure if Jay's going to be champion by then, but I will touch base on that in just a little bit. I do want to touch base on a specific matchup that's not involved for Money in the Bank or Saturday night's main event, but the clues are just sitting there more and more, man. And that was the Judgment Day, Balor and JD against Penta and Styles. Penta, again, he gets hit from freaking El Grande Americano. I just feel like this is leading up to the Lucha Bros getting teamed up together somehow. Rey Fenix coming over to Raw, or possibly Penta going to SmackDown. I think Phoenix should come over to Raw because Raw needs more quality tag teams, I think, just to make it more competitive. SmackDown is filled with tag team talent. My goodness. They also have Fraxium now as well on a weekly basis, so I don't think they need another tag team right now. They're good. Let's get Raw tag team. Lucha Bros will be perfect to elevate that division. I think that is needed desperately. But the bigger story out of that is that, again, seemed like Balor and AJ Styles kind of had like a weird, I don't want to call it an understanding, but just a weird notions to each other. Later on in the backstage segment, we see, the Judgment Day celebrating, talking, BS, and as usual, Balor steps in. Then he brings who with him? Roxanne Perez. Very interesting. See? I think it's very interesting. Roxanne is now there. She brings presents, as Raquel said, for the Judgment Day. Raquel didn't really like it, and as Balor put it, Roxanne is not part of the Judgment Day. She's just there to watch Raquel and Liv Morgan's back. Just like how Balor, Carlito, and JD are watching Dom's back. Very interesting. I think this is how Balor and Roxanne are going to cost all three of them their titles. The women's tag titles and Dom's IC title. That could be how it is. Someone's losing the title. The thing is, though, I can see the women's tag titles being switched off of Raquel and Liv just because I feel like those are more moving titles than Dom having his IC title run, especially he just got it. I don't think personally that he's going to lose it at this very second. However, we definitely need to move on with this whole Judgment Day story. Let's get it moving. Let's get it forward. Let's not get stuck in a loop such as the one with freaking Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, where I've been waiting for them to still break up. We saw them freaking have a little bit of back and forth. Austin Theory basically freaking set Waller up on Monday night to get his ass beat by Sheamus. But whatever, I guess. Hopefully that limbo is finally over. And just moving back to the whole Judgment Day thing. The seeds are there. I feel like Styles is going to get involved. And it's going to be Styles, Balor, and Roxanne. And Liv, Dom, and I could see JD. I could see JD not teaming up with Balor and actually taking Dirty Dom's side on this one. It I don't know. I just feel like that's the move they're gonna pull with it. And let's see how far they're actually willing to take this. Is my question. Obviously, the seeds are being planted there, and they are already there for sure. But hey, congrats to Roxanne. She's having big moments, it seems like, on Raw again, including that she qualified in the Money in the Bank ladder match by beating Natalya and Becky Lynch in her matchup, which is crazy. I mean, Becky had the match, won, and Lyra Valkyria comes out, interrupts, gets that shit going, and obviously their feud's going to continue. Predictable. I knew that was going to happen. We knew that Lyra was going to continue with Becky, which is eventually going to lead up to the whole Bayley returning matchup. And maybe they're just pushing this slowly off because they want to have the Bayley and Becky matchup at SummerSlam. Makes perfect sense to me the more I look at it. And, you know, that's definitely the play here. I think it's a slam dunk play. Nothing more to it. Something that I didn't expect tonight was seeing the NBA star Tyrese Halliburton do like a small promo. Also announces he's going to be a DLC character as one of the NBA players in the next DLC for WWE 2K25. But more importantly, can you believe that WWE really somehow had Jalen Brunson and Halliburton interrupt each other and then have a promo months ago? And now they're both in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the story has been written, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't believe the NBA is rigged, believe it now. Nah, I'm just kidding. But that is quite a coincidence that Brunson and the Knicks are now facing Halliburton and the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Just like how WWE wrote it, as Triple H put in his tweet. I found hilarious. I will say this. Go Knicks, baby. Go Knicks. Sorry, Hallie. My boy, Jalen Brunson, got your number, homie. Shoot. Go Knicks. Anyways, let me move on. One thing I will say is hopefully Zoe Stark can go and get better. Seems like she had a pretty nasty landing off the ropes, off the apron. It's like she clearly mistimed her jump, landed badly, and her knee looked like it went totally the wrong way. As I said, hoping she has a speedy recovery and she's all good. She had to be taken out of the next match, which was another triple threat qualifying match between herself, Rhea Ripley, and Kairi Sane. Welcome back, Kairi Sane, baby. Super excited to see her back. They didn't mention anything about damage control, so maybe they quietly did just separate them. Sucks. I did like them. Hopefully Asuka returns soon and the Kabuki Warriors are still a thing. If not, hopefully they make it a thing. Because, you know, the women's tag division, Kabuki Warriors as tag champions was lit. Hey, why not? I'm not against it. But the winner out of this was not the returning Kairi Sane, but the Rhea Ripley. I'm not really surprised by this. I mean, Rhea was in the match to win, and she didn't really have any of the feud situation going on anyways. Unless Julia was still on Raw, then I would have said, oh, maybe she would have interfered, but she's on SmackDown clearly now. Seems like Rhea's going to be going to Money in the Bank in LA, and she's going to try to get another shot at the title. See, I like Rhea, but we got to get her involved in just other side stories without the title involved. But let's see. Maybe that's what's happening right now. That's what's kind of getting geared up. Let's see. I'm hoping so personally, and I think things are gonna go pretty interesting, in my opinion, at least. Something that was interesting is, again, tonight we had a pretty freaking lit main event between Braun Breaker and Jey Uso, the world champ. Of course, they fought until, here we go, Rollins comes out. Rollins and Braun are beating the hell out of Jey. Bang, freaking hit Sami Zayn's music. Here he comes out for the save. And of course, his partner for this weekend, CM Punk. Now, CM Punk and Sami Zayn are going to be facing Rollins and Braun Breaker as Saturday night's main event this weekend. This is the opportunity for WWE to pull the trigger and add a third guy into the mix. I can see it happening. However, I will not say that it will definitely happen. I'm just not sure on what is the play here. If Rollins and Breaker are going to win, are they going to win clean, or is it going to be some type of heelish way to win? Some kind of dirty way. It just makes sense that they have to win in that sense. And they're definitely not losing. 100% they're going to be the winners of this tag match. Sami Zayn and Punk, I don't think, have a shot to win this. The real question for this matchup is somebody new going to be introduced here or not? That's the real question. Someone coming out, who's going to be third member? Are we going to get a tease possibly, not a reveal? It could be a number of things, but regardless fact, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Rollins, Braun Breaker, definitely the winners of this matchup. Now, in my opinion, what the main event is going to be is most likely the guy who, again, got the upper hand after the brawl happened between all four of the guys in the tag team matchup. You see Jey Uso standing in the ring, looking, turns out to bang, gets fucking decked by Logan Paul. And this is, I think, maybe the fourth time I think Uso's been laid out and Paul's gotten the upper hand. Do I see Logan Paul winning the title? No, to be honest. I think Jay's title reign has only began. And do I see Logan Paul really holding it? No. But what they could do, and I find interesting, is they could have Logan Paul take it off of some cheating type of way. Jey Uso gets a rematch, and he gets the title back at Money in the Bank. Maybe they're just trying to run this small one right now. For 2 weeks later, they're just going to run a rematch between the two. Possibly Logan Paul asks for a rematch, but if he loses clean, I don't know how he's going to ask for a rematch again. I don't see it happening nor being possible. However, just hard for me to say that Paul is going to win. I don't know. It just seems like Jay's title reign has only began, as I said, and I just don't see them putting on Logan Paul. I mean, I know if they really seem like they want to, but they're just not going to do it. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. So you know what? I'm going to go with Mr. Yeet himself to retain my boy Jey Uso, dude. Screw it. But hey, guys, we're going to get some more Money in the Bank qualifying matches this upcoming week on Friday Night SmackDown. Also, we're going to get a couple more next Monday night on Raw, which let's all hope and pray that Karrion Kross is going to be involved in one of these qualifying matches because, man, he's been getting all this hype, but where the hell is he? We haven't seen him get any TV time. Let's get my man Kross on TV. There's a reason why he's the #1 merch seller for a hot minute right now, and why people are getting behind him. Let's get him some TV time. Let's get him, less of the backstage promos, maybe in-ring promo even. Let's get him going. Let's get him into the Money in the Bank qualifying match. Get him qualified. Maybe even put the damn briefcase on him. Screw it. F it. Let's see. Let's see what happens, WWE. Let's see what you guys got in the coming weeks. I know this is a little bit crunched up, but I'm sure you guys will be able to do fine. Anyways, thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to another week of Pipe Bomb Sessions. Thank you, and have a great Memorial Day weekend, this upcoming weekend, and Saturday night's main event. Everybody enjoy and tune in, and don't forget to subscribe and like. See you guys later.